We're always taught that extinction is final. It's a closed book, right? The end of the story. But what if it's not? Today, we're diving into the cold case files of animals that have been declared extinct, but might just be hiding out right under our noses. Okay, so let's really dig into this. We're going to challenge this whole idea that extinction is some irreversible final event. What if, for some of these incredible creatures, it was more like a vanishing act? A strategic retreat into the shadows of jungles, caves, and oceans that we've barely even begun to explore. Now, this isn't just some sci-fi fantasy. There's actually a scientific term for it. It's called a Lazarus taxon. And the poster child for this is the coelacanth. Seriously, everyone thought this fish went extinct with the dinosaurs, but then, bam, 1938, a fisherman pulls one out of the ocean, alive and kicking. This one fish proved that nature absolutely loves a good comeback story. All right, with that idea in our back pocket, let's open our first case file. We're heading to Java, and get this, it's the most populated island on the entire planet, to look for a legendary predator that, well, according to the official records, simply shouldn't exist anymore. So this is the Javan tiger. Super distinctive. It had these thinner, more numerous stripes. It used to be so common that people actually thought of it as a pest. But as the story often goes, habitat loss and hunting pushed it right to the brink. The last official sighting was way back in 1976, and the case was officially closed in 2003. Or was it? Because see, the official story started to fall apart. Weird evidence just kept piling up. Park rangers kept claiming they were seeing them. Locals were finding these mysterious paw prints. Someone even found this massive paw cast, way bigger than any known tiger in the area. But the real smoking gun? A single hair snagged on a fence that recently came back with a positive DNA match for the Javan tiger. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? I mean, how could a 300-pound predator hide on the world's most crowded island? Well, this quote really gets to the heart of it. If any animal could pull off the ultimate disappearing act, it's a tiger. They are, quite literally, masters of being unseen. So, how seriously should we be taking this? Well, based on all the evidence, the source for this explainer gives the Javan tiger a 9 out of 10 chance of still being out there. Just let that sink in for a second. That's practically a certainty. All right, let's move on to our next case. We're leaving the hot jungles of Java and heading to the frozen tundra of Siberia. We're on the trail of a true Ice Age icon, the woolly mammoth. We all know the mammoth, right? This colossal beast, built for the Ice Age, weighing almost 22,000 pounds with these incredible 16-foot tusks. The official story is that they vanished about 10,000 years ago, but the real timeline of their extinction is way more fascinating than you might think. Okay, this is where the story gets totally wild. So yeah, the main mammoth population dies out 10,000 years ago. But look at this. While the pyramids were being built in Egypt, a small, isolated herd of mammoths was still walking the earth on a remote island in Siberia. This isn't just prehistory. This is happening right alongside recorded human history. You see, the frozen ground in Siberia has basically acted like a giant natural freezer. It's given us perfectly preserved mammoths. I'm talking skin, fur, everything. And because of that, scientists have been able to sequence their entire genome, which has led to these incredible projects trying to bring them back by mixing their DNA with Asian elephants. But here's the thought. What if we don't need a lab to bring them back? What if some are still out there? Deep in the vast, remote forests of Siberia, hunters and geologists keep whispering about sightings, these glimpses of massive, hairy beasts off in the distance. In a wilderness that huge and unexplored, it's pretty tough to rule anything out completely. For our final case file, we're diving into the largest and by far the most mysterious habitat on our planet, the ocean. And down here, we're not just looking for one phantom, we're looking for two. So this brings us to two very different ocean mysteries. On one hand, you've got the legend of the megalodon. And while the super creepy 1875 report of a demon shark keeps the story going, its survival is, well, it's highly speculative. But then you have the large-toothed sawfish, this bizarre 25-foot creature that was declared gone from U.S. waters in 1961. The big difference? Divers in Florida keep saying they're seeing them. The theory is they might have secret breeding grounds, completely hidden from us, which makes their survival a lot more plausible. Now let's just zoom out for a second and look at this number. 80%. Just let that hang in the air for a moment. That's how much of our planet's oceans are a complete and total mystery, unexplored. So it really makes you ask a fundamental question. When we know so little about what is down there, how can we be so absolutely certain about what isn't? So let's step back from the individual cases and just look at the bigger picture for a second. What do all these mysteries really tell us about our world and, our place in it? See, this is really why these stories matter so much. They force us to question the very limits of what we think we know. They're a really humbling reminder that we are just guests on a planet that is still full of incredible secrets. And every rumor, every footprint, it fuels our desire to explore, to understand, and ultimately to protect what's left. And this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. If an animal as big and as powerful as the Javan tiger can potentially survive in one of the most crowded places on Earth, well, the possibilities for what else is out there become truly endless. And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question. If these animals do survive, are they just ghosts of the past, just barely holding on? Or are they signs of a future we haven't discovered yet? Proof that our world is wilder, more mysterious, and way more resilient than we ever imagined. The search continues.